Buckeyes and Beyond. Here are your hosts, Jeff and Mike.
Hey everybody, welcome to Buckeyes and Beyond, episode 6 on Sunday, February 2nd, 2020. And we'll be covering a few different topics today. We will, sorry for that pad drop. Still trying to get better at this. So yeah, we're going to go over, kind of recap the season, and for 2019, we'll hit maybe a recruiting tidbit, NFL Buckeye stuff coming up because it's Super Bowl Sunday today. And then we'll touch on some Buckeye basketball to end the show. So we might go an hour. So thanks for listening. And again, I'm Jeff, and this is Mike.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
So yeah, we'll be just two regular fans in Columbus, Ohio. Been watching all our lives, and we decided, let's try a podcast. Why not? So hope you like it. Subscribe, review, follow us on Twitter at Beyond Buckeyes, and just keep hanging in there with us. We're hoping to get this thing rolling, get better. I think today we got some better audio. Just trying to work out the kinks here. Just a couple of amateur schmoes.
Yeah.
Trying to work out the kinks, figure this podcast thing out. So I know we got some better audio today. Probably the best audio yet that we've had. So.
Yeah. The goal is to really work out all these kinks and really get this to be a smooth operation by the time football season starts. So that so that when the season starts, we can really just get this thing rolling. So
yeah, we had the most listeners right after the Fiesta Bowl against Clemson.
Yeah.
So I imagine once the season rolls around, we'll probably get a lot of listeners. So between podcasts and YouTube and all that. So
yeah, it's just
we're up to 30 some followers on Twitter.
Yeah, we got 32,
but we need those followers to listen.
Yeah, we need them to actually listen. So, if you do, thanks for listening, and if you follow us, thank you for following us. We put out stuff probably every other day or something. Just little stories that we see, or just little things that we happen to think about when it comes to the football Buckeyes.
Yeah, we see some, we'll retweet it, give our little comment with it. So yeah, what we want to touch on first, we want to try and do let's do the Super Bowl stuff first.
Okay,
just kind of
that's fine.
We've got two Buckeyes in the Super Bowl. Darren Lee for the Chiefs and Nick Bosa for the 49ers. And Nick Bosa won Defensive Rookie of the Year? Yeah,
he won Defensive Rookie of the Year, which not really a shock. I mean, he had such a great year. So
no, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, how many strong candidates there were for Defensive Rookie of the Year?
The defensive one, I can't really think, unlike you, off the top of my head, of anyone else who had a really worthy season to even give him a run for his money. So
yeah, I'm trying to think it was maybe
no, I mean I can't really think of any. We're gonna run into some dead air if we sit here and try and think about it. So
I'm not even gonna bother googling it.
Yeah.
All right, so Michael Thomas won Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, not a big shock. I mean, he had such a great season. I mean, I don't remember what his actual final numbers were, but I mean, it was just insane, the number of touchdowns that he had, the yards. And to sort of Michael Thomas wasn't even used as well as he could have been while he was here. It is ridiculous how underused he was.
Yeah, it was kind of it's been that way for a while. Where sorry, I'm fighting off a sneeze.
That's okay.
Where we've had such a good core of receivers that kind of spread it around fairly evenly. So when a guy busts out, we saw that with Terry McLaurin.
Right, yeah.
Apparently Terry McLaurin is an untapped receiver. He could have caught a lot more balls than he was getting at Ohio State. But.
Yeah, and I think he was close to Offensive Rookie of the Year. Kyler Murray won it, but I think he may have been second in the running, or I don't even know if they even. I don't know if
they even have the
but
voting.
If it wasn't for Murray, I think he probably could have actually won it. So
Yeah. I don't know if they ever released the like how many votes everyone got.
I don't
sort
know.
of thing, yeah.
I've never even bothered to look at that.
Yeah,
and see.
they're more bigger on that in baseball than they are
Yeah.
football. Super Bowl, I saw something here. It's kind of somewhat interesting. So there's 17 Big Ten players in the Super Bowl.
Nice.
And
Okay.
17 SEC.
Yeah.
And then there's a drop after that. Like Pac-12 has like 13.
Wow. I didn't
And,
think there was that many.
Yeah, Big 12 only like 6. Yeah.
Yeah, Big 12. That's not a
Yeah.
surprise that they don't have many players in the
Yeah.
NFL. Wow, Big 10. All right, man.
Yeah, in the Super Bowl. So.
Good for the conference.
Yeah. So,
And if there are just a small little transition, if there are any Browns fans who actually listen, the Browns' new defensive coordinator is actually on the staff for San Francisco right now. His name is Joe Woods. They're just waiting for him to finish the game so that they can, officially bring him in as the new DC. I believe he's their secondary coach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, and he's been doing it for quite a while.
Yeah, he's been there for some time. In fact, I read Shanahan has been trying to actually get him to stay because they don't want him to. They don't really want him to go.
Because I know Salah's probably like barking, any time.
Salah is probably going to be gone, I would guess, after this next season. He will probably get a job. He was close. In fact, I think if the Vikings would have actually won that game against San Francisco, Salah probably would have. He probably would have actually gotten a job. I think it probably came down to him and Stefanski and whoever was going to win that game. They were going to hire the other one. So
maybe Salah's the next Detroit Lions coach.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of teetering on termination.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. So. So you want to hit the tiny bit of recruiting news?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So there was a kid out of Cleveland area. I think it's Streetsboro High School.
Streetsboro High School up in Cleveland.
Yeah, and his name is Michael Hall. He's a defensive tackle / maybe edge, but who knows what they'll actually groom him.
Yeah, I think he probably transitions to more of a tackle than he does the edge. Plus, because they're so deep at the edge rusher right now, I don't think that they would really try to, force him into that. I believe he's the 9th rated player in the state of Ohio. So he's he's a really good football player. Wasn't super highly recruited. He was more of a regional recruit than a national one. So he had offers from the Big Ten, a couple ACC schools. So I mean, he isn't getting a whole lot of press, but he's really underrated. He's a really good football player. So
yeah, I don't know if that has anything to do with like how wide he's recruited. Seeing he's a 2021, I don't know if that slowly trickles out because after he plays next season, maybe the more
he could actually turn into like a 5-star kid. So
yeah. So he still has one more year left, and if you ever see a picture of him,
yeah, he's a monster.
It's funny that he still has one more year.
Yeah, I know. It's really kind of scary whenever you think about it. He's a big kid.
Yeah, he almost looks like he's ready now to step in, enroll early.
Yeah,
he's 17.
Yeah.
So.
In fact, I think the Buckeyes have the #1 recruiting class for 2021. They're just killing it right now. So they've got a lot of good names there on that list. So
yeah. So Ohio State football season in 2019. We'll go over it game by game, just like because we got a lot of time before the next season.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of talk about the season in order of games.
Yeah.
I guess that would probably get us to draft stuff.
Yeah, that would probably get us into the draft / spring game, stuff like that, which is kind of what we were wanting to do, was because there isn't a lot that happens from now until the draft or from now until the spring game, just want to try to find something that we could actually talk about. So if we go, each week, game by game of the last, I don't know if we should really even cover the Fiesta Bowl because we already did that in the first one, but the first 11 weeks, that should probably take us up to the draft stuff. So
yeah. So Ohio State season started off in 2019. It started off with Lane Kiffin's Florida Atlantic Owls.
The Lane train came into town.
Yeah. So that game, don't know if I guess everybody thought it would be a blowout, but
I just always thought that it was really interesting because nobody knew what Justin Fields was or what kind of player he was actually going to be. So this was sort of our first glimpse to what we all thought was going to be a great quarterback, and we were really excited to see what he was going to do. And he did not disappoint. So
yeah. I think Florida Atlantic had some questions. I guess everybody just kind of figured out, because I mean, when Lane Kiffin took over, they were kind of in the dumps.
Oh yeah.
He was still doing his turnaround thing there, and they would they finish this year like 8-4?
They finished pretty decently. They went to I don't know if it was a decent bowl game, but they went to I believe it was 8-4. It might have even been 9-3.
Yeah, let me see. Football.
They won their conference. I do know that.
Yeah, because I know they won the conference. They actually 11-3 on the season. I guess that's counting their Conference USA championship game and then the bowl.
Okay.
So,
wow. So yeah.
So
they were. I mean, they were a pretty good team. All things considered. I mean, they clearly couldn't, compete with us. But I mean,
they lost their first two against us and UCF.
Okay.
UCF handed it to them.
Wow.
That was
UCF they sort of took a big step back too. I think this year.
Yeah.
They were not the same team that they had been for the last couple of years.
And then they lost to Marshall in October.
Okay.
By 5.
Okay.
So, pretty good season. No games that they were like ashamed to lose.
No, I mean they lost games that they probably should have lost.
Yeah. Florida Atlantic, Ohio State. The game started off with Ohio State just taking it to them.
Yeah, I mean they jumped out to a 28-0 lead.
28-0 with 6:50 left in the first quarter.
Yeah. In fact, I think our first score was the long run by Fields.
Yeah, the little read option left, and he found a hole that you could drive a truck through. And
went 60-some yards, I think, for the touchdown?
51 yards.
Okay, sorry.
51-yard scamper.
Yeah.
Scamper. Where's his scamper?
Yeah.
It's like an old...
That is a really old-school term from you and I growing up. That was what they used to say, that he scampered 60 yards for a touchdown.
Who says that in their daily life? I'm gonna go scamper to the grocery store.
Honey, I will be right back. I'm gonna scamper off and go do my podcast. So,
scamper. There were some other plays. There was a lot of run. They used a lot of run to set up play action in this game.
Yeah, which would like to have seen that, throughout the season, which you did to a certain extent, but they sort of put the season on a Dobbins for the most part, which is not bad. So
I mean it was 47 rushes to 26 passes in this game.
Yeah,
a lot of play action. It's got the tight ends involved a lot in this game.
Yeah, I think Record had 2 scores.
Yeah, 2 scores.
Yeah.
They even had Benjamin Victor had a nice wide open 32-yard catch. Olave a 29-yard catch, another open middle of the field. Middle of the field in this game.
It was. I mean,
it was there for the taking.
Yeah, you could have set up shop and done anything that you wanted in the middle of the field in this game. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. So.
And I think when we were looking at some of the highlights, they were in cover 2 for most of the game. I think they went to cover 3 a little bit, but for the most part, they stayed in cover 2. And their safeties just really didn't do a very good job of playing the middle of that field.
Well, yeah, I mean they would just get caught staring at underneath routes, and then they weren't, as they say, deeper than the deepest.
Right.
Of the guy the receiver running the deeper route. They weren't. They were just kept staring in front of them, and just biting there, frozen.
Yeah.
So it's Fields had 12 carries. The thing with that is, I think that was the first time it was okay, we're starting to get a taste of how they're gonna Are they going to treat him like J.T. Barrett?
Right.
It's like, are we going to be running this guy too much?
Yeah.
And we don't really have much of a backup quarterback situation going on. It would make fans nervous. I know I was nervous.
Yeah, I was curious of the same thing. I remember watching that game, and his 51-yard score, I believe, was the first, if not one of the first plays from scrimmage. And I remember thinking, boy, this guy is being touted as a great, passer. Are we going to turn him into a runner? And I was a little bit, just like you, I was a little bit scared. Like, that's not the way that you want to play this kid. And it turned out that, that's not what we did. So
yeah, I mean, I could kind of see. Let's see. I mean, I want to go to. Let's see. I want to go to the schedule for. Well, let me see. We go back because I think the Penn State game.
He had a lot of rushes there,
yeah, and that was it was making me nervous in that game because I think it was Penn State. I could probably pick out some other ones where it was like, man, he's running the ball a lot.
The Penn State game was
21 carries.
Yeah, the Penn State game was.
Well, that was a weather game.
Yeah, it was a tough game to play. I think that was a whiteout too. I mean, so it's a tough.
Was here.
That was here.
This year's Penn State game.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Okay, I'm sorry.
That was one game I went to this year.
Yeah, so I mean, it was a nasty game because that's right. There was a whole lot of rain going on that day. So yeah.
So we look at the Wisconsin game. Yeah, was that? Clicked on the wrong damn link, but I think that one was. Let's see. That one was Fields, 13 carries, probably a lot more around. Look, he had a TD in that. Oh, he had 21-yard TD. So he carried a lot, but he had 28 yards carrying, and 21 was on one run.
But so, I don't know how many of those runs in those games were actually designed runs as opposed to scrambling to just try and pick up some yards. Yeah. Because I don't think that we ran a whole lot of actual designed runs for him. I think.
Go to this was post knee brace. Yeah, he had 12 carries for a yard. And, like what's really designed against Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'm just trying to like. Yeah.
I don't think it was ever planned.
Yeah.
To really turn him into an actual runner. I think Ryan Day knew that he had a really good passer on his hands, and he didn't want to. He really didn't want to risk him getting hurt by running all those times the way that they did with J.T. Barrett. So
yeah, against Michigan State, for example, they won 34-10, and he ran 11 times. So another game where it's like 11, 12.
Yeah,
it's like just enough to keep him honest.
Mm-hmm.
But in 25 passes to a total of 49 runs. But
yeah, and he was 18 of 25 in that game, because the extra pass was thrown by Chug.
Against which one?
FAU.
FAU. Yeah.
Yeah, he was 18 of 25 for 234 yards. So
yeah,
he had a good game and nice solid debut for him.
Yeah. Fourth quarter, the final score was 45-21, but fourth quarter they got a lot more second team, third team, and FAU got a couple of touchdowns
they
there
got a couple
in the fourth
of late
quarter.
Scores, yeah.
Yeah, they outscored us in the fourth quarter. So, but yeah, it was like 35-6 going into the fourth, and I don't know if they got another one early in the fourth, and then just
so we had a couple turnovers really early in the game too that they didn't score off of. So was really impressed by the D. I mean that they really stood tall on a couple of those, because we gave them the ball I think a couple times on their side of the 50. So our side of the 50. So
one guy to look for in the NFL. I think he's in the top 3 for tight ends.
Oh yeah.
FAU's Harrison Bryant.
I believe he won what do they call the tight end award? The Mackey?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he actually won that.
I think he did, yeah. 65 catches for 1,000.
Yeah.
7 touchdowns. It's pretty good at FAU.
Yeah, he's actually, I think, he's, if I remember right, he's projected as a second round pick. So
second round.
Yeah, I believe that's where he's actually. I've seen a couple mock drafts that have him going in the second round.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to tell with tight ends.
Sure. Yeah.
There's so much depth at like wide receiver this year.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, the way
and really, tight end is not necessarily a big position that some teams say we have to have one in this draft. It just sort of gets to be like a throw-in spot where, okay, we'll just go ahead and take this guy because he's there. But most teams don't really look like we need a tight end. It's just the way that it goes nowadays.
Yeah, I don't know what his deal was before the season. I see one profile that says he's more of a receiver than a blocker, and he's not. We've got a lot of really great blocking skill, but that was back in September. So
yeah, I think he showed that he could do that. Yeah. I think he showed he's a all-around guy too, that he can run, or I'm sorry, that he can catch and block too. So
yeah,
but he is definitely more of a a catcher.
Mm-hmm.
He's not really a quote blocking tight end.
Yeah, he's like 6'5", 240. I mean, which is kind of like George Kittle size.
Sure, yeah.
So, I mean, George Kittle doesn't look like a beefy.
No.
But he blocks really well.
Yeah.
So, they always he's not an elite blocker due to his size. I'm like, well.
Yeah, but most tight ends aren't actually elite blockers. I mean, if you find one that is, then you found a diamond in the rough, because most of them aren't really elite blockers. They just aren't.
Yeah.
So.
Especially this day and age.
Yeah.
So.
It's just not a big deal. So
yeah. So yeah, do you want to, let's see, what do you want to do next? Just go to Buckeye basketball?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we can go there because we could spend a little bit of time on this giant, collapse that
it's hard to call it a collapse because I mean, they won yesterday.
Yeah.
So we're 14-7. We just had a really bad stretch there where it was just kind of puzzling. I really couldn't put your finger on exactly one thing.
I think it's more frustrating because of the start.
Yeah.
That they had. They started out 11-0 or something like that, or close to it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait, 9.
9-0. Okay.
They lost to Minnesota on the road.
Okay.
They came back and won a cupcake game at home, and then they beat Kentucky at Kentucky.
Yeah. That's what was really frustrating, is that they had some really quality wins in that stretch of games there, man. I mean, they beat Kentucky. They beat who else did they beat that was really good?
Villanova.
Yeah, that's right.
That was the best win.
Yeah, they beat Villanova by 24 or 25 points?
25.
Yeah, they beat Villanova by 25 points.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they came out just firing on all cylinders, and they looked like they were a for sure Final Four team. And now it's just to the point to where we're going to be lucky to be a 10 seed. So
Villanova's number 8 in the country.
Yeah.
They're 17-4, standing like a little bit better shape.
Yeah,
but they probably don't play in as good of a conference.
No.
So I mean, that has something to do with it. The Big Ten's kind of cannibalizing itself.
It really is, yeah.
Because if you see
who's on top,
Illinois at 16-5. I mean, the 5 losses for the
top team.
Top team.
Yeah.
Which like Illinois coming back. They haven't seemed like they haven't had any good, like, just consistent solid teams since Self left. Bill Self left.
I mean, the last great player that they had that I can think of is probably Chris Paul.
Wait, no, he was at Wake Forest.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Who am I thinking of? Not Chris Paul. I don't know why I said Chris Paul. Chris Paul played at Wake Forest. Yes. What the hell am I thinking? Didn't they have a really solid point guard that played within the last 5 or 6 years?
Lutherhead.
No, not Lutherhead. What the hell am I thinking of?
I want to say let's see. They had the center kid. What's the one kid?
The big tall kid who was annoying because he could actually shoot the 3 too.
Yeah. You're talking about Darren Williams.
Darren Williams. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Myers Leonard.
Yeah.
And
Myers Leonard is the big tall kid who can actually shoot threes too.
Yeah.
He was annoying. I don't know why I said Chris Paul. I just made myself out to be a moron. Everyone knows that Chris Paul went to Wake Forest. That was stupid. But yeah, Darren Williams. Sorry, that's it. Yeah.
So we got Illinois at the top, Michigan State right behind them, 8-3 conference record, 16-6 overall. Maryland 7-3, 17-4 overall. Rutgers, amazingly, has a solid major sports program.
Yeah, I know.
7-4, 16-6 overall.
Wow.
Who's Rutgers?
I don't even know who their coach is.
Let's check it out. Let's see. Rutgers. Oh, crap. Rutgers. Rutgers. Wow. Steve Picciol?
I don't know who that is. I don't know. The last coach that I remember that they had was actually Mike Rice, and he was fired for all that stuff that he was doing there. So, but that was the last coach.
Yeah,
that
that's
I
right.
could,
Yeah. Mike Rice, his like abuse scandal in the program was so big that Saturday Night Live did a skit. Melissa McCarthy. It's like they kind of.
I've seen that. That's actually really funny.
Kind of parodied the thing.
Yeah. Who was Bill Hader was Jeremy Schaap in that whole thing.
Was it?
Yeah. And then at the end, she actually hits him with it. She hits him with the basketball.
It's a pretty good skit.
Yeah, it is. It's actually really funny.
I was watching Saturday Night Live clips from last night.
I couldn't.
J.J. Watt.
I didn't want to watch because I can't imagine that he was good.
He was actually decent.
Are you serious?
He was actually decent. The one that they shouldn't have been embarrassed about was the opening political one.
Really?
It was bad. It's like everything else is pretty solid.
I'll have to watch it.
It was actually pretty good.
I didn't want to watch him because I thought it was going to be bad. Like, there's no way, because I would cringe if I just seen him just doing such a horrible job. But no,
he was actually decent. I was surprised. I was like,
I'll have to watch him then and see.
I didn't stay up. I watched it on YouTube.
Yeah,
that's the way to do it. Anyway.
Yeah, that's actually how I watch it now.
Yeah.
I don't freaking stay up until 1 o'clock to watch it.
Yeah. So Rutgers has there's man.
16-6.
I saw Joe Lunardi. I heard that Joe Lunardi, the bracketology guy on ESPN, he's predicting the Big Ten to get 12 teams in.
That would be ridiculous if we got 12 teams in the tournament.
But the way it looks right now, I mean, you got at the bottom of the conference, you got overall 13-8. Well, not the bottom, but you have Nebraska and Northwestern who are out.
Yeah.
They're out. Like, they don't stand a chance to get in the tournament. But right above them is Michigan at 13-8. I mean, they're sitting at, I guess that's 12th.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 13-8. They've slid a little bit.
Yeah,
they've won 2 in a row now. They slid. They were 11-8, and then they won 2 in a row. Ohio State's won 2 in a row.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. I mean, we really could get 12 teams in.
Minnesota, who beat us, is 11-10 overall, so they're kind of more bubble.
Yeah,
they're pretty bubble. I mean, Ohio State's less bubble, but they're 4-6 in the conference. And Purdue's bubble. They got some bubble teams. Purdue's 12-10, so you can't flirt with 500.
Yeah, you got to wonder though if it comes down to a couple bubble teams, would Purdue and Michigan get in just based off of their name too? So I mean, I mean that actually could happen. I mean, if it comes down to them and some team that really doesn't make the tournament that often, they were probably going to let them in. Yeah,
Purdue has teams. Let's see, they whooped the Spartans.
Yeah,
by 29.
Sorry.
I have a new dog, and
the dog is trying to get me to play with it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just trying to get rid of the ball so that he'll go over and play with it.
Yeah. He's trying to come by, and he won't. This apparently is his scheduled play time. I didn't know that. So Purdue. Let's see. They lost. They had a bad loss. They lost at Nebraska.
Oh, yeah. That could actually keep them out of the tournament. That loss.
But then they lost. But then they beat Sparty by 30.
That's such an odd.
Yeah.
To lose at Nebraska and then to beat Sparty by 30. That's just
yeah. I mean, the rest of their wins and losses are kind of like justifiable. Like they should have. You're not surprised that they lost that one game. Their losses are kind of like, but yeah, you have that kind of that back and forth, that inconsistency like
right.
that. They played Florida State tough. They only lost by 3, and Florida State's number 5 in the country.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I mean, they're actually a really good team.
Mm-hmm.
Florida
State played them tough, but then lose to Nebraska. So
yeah,
they seem like they're much better at home than away. So
Purdue is a really tough place to play too.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, let's see. What do I have that right? Yeah, they're away 2-6.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Ohio State's similar. They're 11-2 at home, 2-4 away.
Yeah, there's been so many things that you could actually point to for the Buckeyes, because it hasn't been one thing that has really caused this streak of games that they've lost. It's been a combination of a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
You could look at, should we talk about Dwayne Washington and Luther Muhammad, how we like them as players, but I think they're not playing the game that they should be playing. They're more slasher mid-range guys, and they're shooting way too many threes.
Yeah, I mean, just it's kind of like the way it's been going. So both those guys were suspended one game.
Yeah.
I don't even remember which game it was.
I
But I think it was
either.
Nebraska.
Yes,
it was Nebraska.
Yes,
it was a game
was.
I knew it was like against a lesser opponent.
Right.
But
which was probably done on purpose.
Well.
Yeah.
But it was just the timing and and then it was right after the 4-game losing streak. So like this last game. So let's just look at the last game.
You talking about yesterday's game?
Yeah, yesterday's game. Okay. I think it was Washington. He again went like 1 of 9 for like 1 of 9 overall. It's like 0 of 5 for 3. It's like something dismal like that. And that's kind of been what he's been doing lately. More than half his shots are for 3.
Yeah, and he actually started off really strong from 3-point range, but it's just he's not a real consistent 3-point shooter. He's very streaky.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you can't really live off that. So.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Here it is, right here.
Yeah.
So box score. So he was off the bench. Muhammad wasn't any much better. He was like 2 of 8 over. Yeah, 1 of 5 for 3. It's like you're shooting like
they're shooting way too many threes.
Yeah,
those guys are. They are such great mid-range players. I'm not sure why they insist on stepping back and shooting threes. Because they're so good at the mid-range that they can also drive so well too. Because if that mid-range shot is going to force guys out there to you to where you can just fake and just drive, or fake and dish, or there are so many more options as opposed to just standing back there waiting for the ball and then just chucking up threes.
Yeah, sooner than later they're going to start just letting those guys. They're not even going to contest them that hard.
No, they're just going to leave them there.
Yeah, they're so thirsty for the 3. It's like they combine 1 of 10 and 3 of 17 overall in 47 minutes combined. Like 2 wing players who just want to stay out behind the 3-point line. It's like,
and I am not opposed to them shooting threes. I am opposed to them doing it as often as they do. I think if they could limit themselves to 2 or 3 3-point shots per game, that's fine. But you have to go inside the arc and play that short mid-range game, especially those guys, because that is what they are.
The game prior against Northwestern, they combined for 5 of 18 from the field, 3 of 10, so slightly better from 3, but still, overall, like very poor shooting.
Yeah.
Really poor shooting. 5 of 18.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, I don't understand why they insist on doing that. It's so frustrating, especially because Wesson can, when you play that short mid-range pick and roll game with him, they could be so good in that whole game inside of the arc, but I don't know why they don't do that. It's because between those guys and Wesson, that really could be their whole game plan, and they just choose to not do that. So
yeah. So against the Gophers, Washington wasn't so bad. It was like 3 games ago. It wasn't so bad, but 5-12, 2-6 from 3 for 12 points. Was not great, but Muhammad, it looked like he went gun shy. He was 1 of 4 from the field in 23 minutes. He started. There's another game. Oh, that was the game. This was embarrassing. So they had a home game against Minnesota, and Wesson was 1 for 10. Caleb Wesson 1 for 10, 0 for 3 from 3.
Which I don't know why
he did hit the
even
boards
shoots
hard,
threes.
14 points, 14 rebounds, but he finished the game with 2 points against Minnesota, and they lost by 3. Like, what in the hell?
Oh my gosh, that's
like,
awful.
I don't get that at all.
No,
and it's not like he was in foul trouble. He had 2 fouls in the whole game, 32 minutes. It's like,
yeah.
Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, I don't know. Sometimes he turns into too much of a finesse player.
Yeah, which has been that's been your problem all season with him, is that he's built to. I think because he lost all that weight before this year, he's tried to actually do that, but he can still be a physical presence down there even with all that weight that he's lost. So
yeah, there's no reason that he should be a 25 and 10 guy.
Absolutely, yeah. There's no reason why he can't do that every single game.
Yeah, I don't know who needs to get a hold of him and get him in the weight room or something, because he almost seems like he has no muscle tone.
Mm-mm.
Like, he has the same muscle tone as Larry Bird. he's playing the 5.
Yeah.
I mean, give me a friggin' break, man.
Yeah,
go friggin' lift some weights, grow a pair, and get nasty down there. Because he settles for a lot of bad shots.
Yeah.
He had some one-legged, he did a Kobe tribute in this last game. It was his version of a Kobe tribute. It was the most ugly ass one-legged
fadeaway.
Yeah, it looked like the description of what the. Ever seen the Patrick Ewing? He's a Georgetown coach now.
Oh yeah,
You've seen the one thing where he's yelling at the kid on.
I haven't seen that before. No.
Oh, if you see that, where he's yelling at the kid, they mic'd him up in the huddle, and he's. You're gonna find it. We'll link it out there maybe on Twitter.
That'd be good.
He goes after this kid on this team. He's yelling at him. He's like, "Who told you to shoot that?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "What was that?" He goes, "What kind of shot was that? Was that a good shot?" And kid, you can tell, he's just like, "No, coach." And he goes, "What? Where did you practice that shot?" And he's like, yeah. He goes, and the kid said, "Yes." He goes,
oh, really?
He goes, yeah. So he's coming back at him he's challenging his thinking. He's challenging the coach's thinking, which is never.
No, that's not a good idea.
Don't say it. Yeah, and then he goes. When did you shot? Did you get to practice early? He's just in the mic'd up. And
man.
He goes, because that was some ugly one-legged fadeaway, and that is not. I never saw you practice that like that. He goes, that is not a good shot. It's funny if you find that is really good. Hopefully they didn't scrub it off because he was being hard on a kid, being honest in front of his teammates and kid.
I would hope not, because that's something that would be something that you would actually want to see. So
yeah, it's funny. If I find that, I'll put that out there. But yeah, shooting that one-legged.
Yeah, that was an awful shot. That was cringeworthy, and he did it because Liddell shot the exact same shot on the
previous possession.
Yeah.
And somewhere in his brain, Caleb thinks that looked cool. And E.J. Liddell he's a different size, a little bit different size player, a little bit more athletic player.
Absolutely is,
and he made that look. It was a good looking shot.
It was,
him.
yeah.
And Caleb's looked like ass.
Yeah.
It
was awful.
That's what they used to call back in the day. They used to call that shot was booty.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear that?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh, man, that shot was booty.
Yeah, I used to hear that all the time in 7th and 8th grade. The basketball team there at Norton Middle School, man.
Yeah, there's like some shit you see in like the 40 and over rec. Like,
oh God, yeah, all those older guys that
shooting. Get together at a church with knee braces.
Just their arch supports in and everything out there going up and down the court,
bringing a massager like when it's not their turn to play. Like they're
sitting on the bench getting themselves all worked out for the next time that they have to go in there and run up and down the court.
Yeah,
those. You know what is really funny though is that a lot of those guys were actually really good ball players whenever they were, younger guys, and it's sometimes fun to watch them go in there and school some of the younger kids because they use strictly fundamentals, and most kids don't use fundamentals, and it's really fun sometimes to just go in there and see those older guys just outwork them.
Yeah, last time it wasn't last year, but the year before. Yeah, I would go over to there's a church that had open men's league, open pickup, and there was an older guy there. Dude, he had to be 50. I mean, he was in really good shape, but he was top 3 out of 20 guys that would show up there. Yeah.
It's all about fundamentals, man.
Yeah, he was very solid. Yeah. So like it seems like the inconsistent shooting and you're just getting like some of the effort was really inconsistent. Down low. I mean, Kyle Young's been pretty consistent with the effort, it seems like, but his game is kind of his game.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna play D.
Mm-hmm. He's gonna get
easy
boards.
buckets. Yeah. He's not gonna. He's kind of like a. Well, I wouldn't even give him this much credit for being. For like, I was trying. I was kind of going with another like white post player. That was like he's kind of like a Joe Klein.
Oh my god!
But Joe Klein would spot up outside a little bit sometimes, but he would have a mid range. I don't think Kyle even has a mid range.
No, and one comparison that you could make, but just like you said, he didn't have the same shot as. Shoot, now the name escapes me. Lighty. Yeah. David Lighty was sort of like a glue guy where he would do all that same stuff that Kyle Young does, but David Lighty could actually shoot a 3.
Yeah.
So
his natural position was 2 guard,
right?
3 maybe.
Yeah, but he was always down. He was always there. He would get the tough boards. He would get the really hard. The really hard baskets, but he could also step out and shoot, and Kyle Young can't. So Kyle's game has been consistent. One thing I always notice about this team, and you realize it's kind of a weird dynamic because you have a graduate transfer at point guard. Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of guys, if you listen to a lot of the analysts going back years, whether it's Digger Phelps or is he still around, Digger?
I don't know. I liked
him. I liked Digger Phelps.
I mean, he was kind of fun.
And if you want to talk about Vital or a lot of these guys, they say when it comes to tournament time, you got to have a point guard.
Mm-hmm.
In college basketball, you got to have a solid point guard.
Absolutely,
a straw that stirs the drink.
Yeah.
You got to have a guy that's going to handle the ball and not turn it over.
Yeah.
And this team is kind of like it's almost like they have a graduate transfer that is he's kind of up and down. PJ Walker, or is it CJ?
CJ Walker.
CJ Walker.
Yeah.
PJ.
What is really hard is it's really hard because we have a CJ, we have an EJ, and we have a DJ. Well, we did have a,
Yeah.
So
So yeah, number 13. So he's like, I think he wants to be a distributor and everything, but it's kind of like he's 6'1". He doesn't even look that on the court. I think that's probably like
he looks really small.
They gave him a couple inches on that listing in the program. Yeah, but it's like they have two quarterbacks and you don't really have one sort of thing.
Which is
that's like you got it. Like it's the guy who's calling the offensive set down the court changes. Like it seems like it changes too much.
It does. Yeah,
it
absolutely does.
This time it's Luther bringing it up. This time it's CJ. So this time it's DJ.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like sometimes it's Andre.
Yeah.
It's like
you just and you really have to have that true consistency that everybody knows. CJ Walker is going to be bringing it up the court, and he is going to be calling out the plays, and he will actually determine where the ball goes to actually start that set. And they just don't have that because you're absolutely right. You just never know who is going to be bringing that ball up the court.
Yeah, DJ Carton, who just took a leave of absence for mental health reasons, he's eventually going to be like the stud point guard.
Yeah.
But it's hard for a true freshman to run the point. It's kind of like a true freshman quarterback in a way.
Yeah, you just don't really see it that often.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of true freshmen, really good true freshman point guards. The guys that always leave early. Let's see.
Well, who was the kid from Duke not too long ago? Not Zion, but they had another
Barrett or
crap. It's so hard to keep up with all the Duke's players because they always have so many of them that always come out of that program. I can't think of it off the top. Yeah, he was a point guard.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was in the last 3 or 4 years.
Was he a freshman?
Yeah, he was. He was a true freshman. But yeah, he played point guard. Oh my God, I'm thinking. Played for the Cavs. Now he's playing for Boston.
Irving?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think you were going back that far.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was the most recent one that I could really think of off the top of my head. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah. So yeah, I know. In a way, they won. So DJ Carton left before this Indiana game.
Yeah.
And Indiana was kind of in the same boat as Ohio State with their record. Yeah. Indiana's now 15-7. They were 15-6 going into that game, and so DJ took his leave of absence, and maybe that's something that in a way kind of like will unite the team.
It could because
get guys to step up.
I don't think he actually specified on when or even if he was going to be back this year.
Yeah, it's like when you leave for mental health reasons, like you don't know what's gonna give you the reason that tells you that you're ready to come back. You don't know what it is. I mean,
and we don't want him to actually rush back. I mean, you want him to actually get well and do what he needs to do to actually get himself right. So
yeah, it's hard for true freshmen just going to school it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot to handle.
Yeah, I think sometimes people forget how overwhelming that can really be. I mean, you go from being a star athlete as a senior with pretty much your schedule is fairly, it's, I don't want to say soft, but I mean, when you get into college, now you're talking about being the point guard at a major university in addition to all the classes that you have to take, getting readjusted to a whole new city. I mean, it's really overwhelming.
Yeah, he's from Iowa and Davenport, Iowa. So here, not that this is like Columbus is the big city, but I'm sure it's probably a little bit different than Davenport, Iowa.
Yeah,
and the Ohio State gives these guys support people around them, but still, it's just so much going on. A lot of coordination, and then you're going out. I'm sure that when you're a true freshman, getting used to like going out of town for games, these road games. I mean, some of these freshmen, you kind of, and then they got to try to keep up with their schoolwork. in between games.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like it can just be overwhelming in a lot of different ways. So I mean, he left right after going to let's see, what was that game?
It was
Northwestern.
2 games ago. Yeah.
Was it the Northwestern game?
I believe
was his
so.
last game? Yeah. Which is funny because he had a good game.
Mm-hmm.
He had 12 in the second half. He scored. He's actually. I mean, that was a game where Caleb only had 11 points somehow.
Yeah.
He shot 5 of 10. It was kind of weird, and he was in foul trouble. It's like you got in foul trouble against Northwestern.
Yeah,
Northwestern's guys were like,
you should never get into foul trouble against Northwestern. That's just silly.
And C.J. Walker scored 3 points. He only shot the ball like 4 times.
Yeah, he doesn't want to shoot that often. You just don't see him do it, and I don't know if that's something that he just does himself, or if that's something that coach has said he just doesn't want him to shoot. We just don't know. But I personally would like to see him shoot a little bit more. At least get 5 or 6 shots each game. But he just doesn't do it that often.
Yeah. So yeah, CJ needs to step up now and really run that point guard, trying to own that point guard spot. Justin Ahrens, number 10.
Arns.
The lefty Arns.
Yeah.
Ahrens. It kind of looks like Ahrens.
Yeah. It's
Arns. And he is stepping up here lately. He is shooting lights out from 3, shooting 40% overall now.
Yeah.
Lately, it's probably like 80% from 3.
He's been on fire here the last couple of games.
So yeah, lately, let's see, he at 60%, 80%. Penn State, he didn't even take a shot.
Yeah.
And then so here past couple games he's hitting threes, 11 and 12 points off the bench, which is anytime you can get double digits off the bench.
Absolutely
huge.
Yeah.
So we'll see what that keeps up. We saw I don't know if you saw that clip of the locker room after the game.
Yeah.
They look like they're trying to unite and get some energy back going and see if they can make a run here in February.
Yeah, which I would really like to see him make that run. I don't know what the schedule's like. I know that we haven't played Sparty yet, I don't think. We got to play Sparty still. We still got to play.
One time. Yeah, so we got to play. Michigan is up next on Tuesday night.
Okay.
Tuesday night at Michigan. Then you go at Wisconsin a week from today.
Yeah.
On CBS. Michigan games on ESPN2, 7 o'clock Tuesday night, and then we got home against Rutgers, who is now no longer against our pushover. Home against Purdue.
They got a tough. Yeah.
Saturday the 15th. We got at Iowa on the 20th. Home versus Maryland the 23rd.
Man. At
Nebraska the 27th.
There's the one win.
Home against Michigan on March 1st. It's a 4 p.m. on CBS. Home against Illinois March 5th. And end of the season at Michigan State at East Lansing on March 8th.
It seems like every season we close against Michigan State. I don't know if that's true or not, but it seems like
it always seems like them or Wisconsin.
Yeah, we always close it against one of those teams. So, yeah, they definitely don't have a easy stretch here coming up. They have some really tough games here that we're going to have to try to pull out because we're what now, 14-7?
14-7. 14-7. So you're going to look at the Big Ten tournament's probably going to start on March 12th. Thursday, March 12th. That's probably going to be the first day of the Big Ten tournament, meaning that the next Thursday will be March 19th. Will be the start of the
NCAA tournament.
Yeah, NCAA tournament.
So you got to figure 20 wins almost probably guarantees you a spot in the tournament most times. Could we get 20 wins out of that schedule, do you think?
How many games we got left? We got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got 10 left.
So you can count Nebraska as a win, you would think. You could count 15. Them as a win. So that's 15. So could we get 5 out of what's left? I think we probably could.
Yeah. So Michigan's not. They're unranked. We got them twice. you think you should be able to split.
Yeah, you can split them.
So there's 16. At Wisconsin,
I don't know.
a week from today.
Yeah, I mean, they beat us here, but they're not that.
No, they're not that good
No,
this year.
they're not that good. So, I mean,
between home, they're much better at home than
they always are.
So
Yeah.
how many home games we got? Home Illinois, home Michigan, home Maryland.
I don't know about Maryland. I don't know if we're going to beat them at home.
Home Purdue, let's say that.
Yeah.
Home, we get that one. So there's 17.
Yeah.
Home Rutgers, let's say we get that.
Sure, yeah.
18. Rest of them are dicey.
I just don't know, man.
Rest of them are dicey. So,
it's
home Illinois, but
I don't know about Illinois.
It's in March though. It's in March.
Yeah.
So let's see what
see
what they can get identity back. Let's
I mean,
see if Caleb can
really do what we've been dying for him to do all year, which is be a physical presence down in the block, man.
Yeah, him averaging 13.9 is kind of like, that's kind of weak, man.
Yeah, you would expect him to at least average 17, 18 points a game. That's where you would want him to. That's really where I would want him to actually be, is at 17, 18 points per game.
I mean,
and Dwayne Washington, Luther Muhammad, please, if you listen, which you don't, but please step inside the arc and play that mid-range game. It's so much easier to score from there.
Yeah, just, I mean, we're better off, driving to the basket.
Yeah, drive to the hole, man.
Yeah, and then, you drive to the hole and make them respect the paint more. Then you got more room. To shoot that three.
Yeah,
so.
Or drive and dish to Arns or somebody else who actually can shoot the three consistently.
Yeah.
It's just that there's so many opportunities that we are not taking advantage of as a basketball team, to where, and I'm not saying that we could be 21-0 right now. I'm just saying that we shouldn't have 7 losses. There's no reason for this team to have 7 losses at this point in the season. There's just not.
Yeah. See, I'm looking at that kid from Iowa. He's a center. He's 6'11", 260, Luke Garza.
Yeah.
And I was looking at his stats. I think does he step out and shoot threes? I guess he must. I see some. He must.
I've seen a couple Iowa games where I've seen him shoot. I don't know if it was threes, but I've seen him step outside of the paint and shoot. So
yeah, he does. He does step out there and hit them, but his overall field goal percentage is 55%. Yeah, if you go look at, I bet you. We'll take a guess. We'll just take a guess before we look. What's Caleb Wesson's field goal percentage?
Field goal percentage? Oh, man. I would put him at I would go to 51%.
Oh, my God.
What is it?
45%.
Oh, my God.
For a center?
No, that's atrocious. To
be a center.
45%.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, good luck getting drafted.
That is atrocious, man.
Yeah,
45%.
Center should always be over, because you shouldn't be shooting from the outside.
No, but
should be
he
down
chucks
low.
Up so many threes during a game.
Yeah, you should be in the block, or in the paint.
45%. I thought I was being
2 years ago. 2 years ago, he was 2 seasons ago. He was at 56. Last year, 50. Now 45.
He has lost all that weight, and all of a sudden, he thinks that he is he's a 3 guard or something.
Caleb Curry.
Yeah, that's what he thinks he is.
He's a slasher. He's just got all these. He's got handles for days.
God, he. There's no reason for him to be at 45%.
Yeah,
that's awful.
It's terrible.
Yeah. I thought I was being a little bit generous at 51, but I mean, my gosh.
Yeah. Let's see. If you want to look at a guy comparison size-wise, remember Terrence Dials?
Oh, yeah, I remember Terrence.
Yeah, Terrence Dials. Let's see what he was 56% for his career. 12 points a game, He wasn't like the main guy.
No, and he didn't have the same offensive game as Wesson does. So he was more of a cleanup guy. He would get some he would get putbacks. He would get some easy shots. He never stepped outside and tried to shoot. He was
not at all.
No, I mean
He was a paint guy.
he knew who he was, and that's fine. Caleb Wesson doesn't know who he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are the seasons they had Brian Brown, Brent Darby,
Yeah,
Boban Savovich.
Boban
Boban
Savovich, who was a great shooter.
Brent Darby, I don't think he played with him that. I guess Brent Darby was probably toward the beginning of Terrence Styles' career. But see who we had on that team, 05-06. That was a Thad team.
That would have been...
it was Ron Lewis, J.J. Solinger.
Yeah, I was going to say that was probably J.J. Solinger and...
Dials and Solinger were the same. Yeah. J.J. Solinger,
Diebler too.
J.J., I'm thinking of Jared.
Oh.
That was J.J., the swing man.
Yeah.
Wing player, J.J.
Was that before Diebler? I can't remember if he played on those teams.
No, that was... so we had Matt Sylvester.
Matt Sylvester, yeah.
Yep. And then
big number 40.
Jaquel Foster.
Wow, there's a name.
Ron Lewis, J.J. Solinger, Jamar Butler. He was a sophomore.
So for those who are actually listening, if you want to hear some of the greatest basketball calls in your life, go back and look up on YouTube the Ohio State Xavier game in the NCAA tournament. Gus Johnson, who I wish he would call basketball games. He actually still might, but he... Yeah, okay.
He's on Fox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He has some of the greatest calls from that game because Ron Lewis just went nuts in that second half and brought us back against Xavier, and that's some of the greatest calls by Gus Johnson.
Yeah. Rise and fire.
Yeah. Butler from the parking lot.
So Jared Sullinger, he was always over 50%. He started to work on an outside game.
And he had a fairly respectable NBA run, too. Mm-hmm. He played for the Celtics and someone else. I can't remember who.
Yeah, he always had a problem with his weight, trying to control his weight.
And his back, too. I mean, he had a lot of back problems. But, but he had a fairly decent run. He had a good run playing in the NBA, so...
Yeah, trying to look at some other seasons with comparable big men. So, a few years ago, started thinking other guys.
I can't think of any other ones really off the top of my head. I mean,
big men.
When I think of actual big men, I have to go back a lot farther and think of guys like I had the name and then it just left my head. But guys who played with Gent and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. It's like Ken Johnson.
Yeah, Ken Johnson. Well, do you know who? Okay, so can we both? Here is a name. One of the most frustrating big men in the history of Ohio State has got to be Amir Williams.
Yeah.
My God, that guy was had so much potential and was absolutely awful. Amir Williams. He was 7 foot or close to it.
Yeah.
He was close to 7 feet tall.
Yeah, he was up there. Let's see, 90.
Who am I thinking of that played with Gent? That was he was a big man, played in the post. My dad,
George. Was it George?
No, my dad used to call him Stone Hands because he couldn't catch the ball.
Oh yeah, I'll find him here in a second. Let's see,
down the post. Yeah, it would have been
91-92.
Yeah.
91-92. Let's go. 91-92. There's Lawrence Funderburk.
Yeah,
Bill Robinson. He was horrible.
Who am I thinking of that my dad used to call Stone Hands? And he was absolutely right because the guy couldn't catch the ball down the post.
Let's go 90-91. Perry Carter.
That's exactly who it was.
That dude was built though.
Yeah, he was.
He was serviceable. I mean, his senior year, he had 12 and 8.
Yeah,
averaged 12 and 8. Yeah. But they. Perry Carter and Treg Lee.
And Perry Carter. There you go. Yeah. Perry Carter and Treg Lee. Man, those are some names from the past. Jeez.
Yeah, it's a good squad. Let's see. They had them losing to Michigan. that Elite Eight game.
Yeah.
Gosh, that was a heartbreaker.
I know. That was so
They ended up lose to Michigan of all teams.
I know. And man, that was what, 91 or 92?
Was that the 92 season? 91, 92?
I think so. Which would have made us about, what, 14 years old?
Yeah, let's see. 91, 92.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. They lost 75 to 71 in overtime.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking, man.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Yeah. Yeah. Jeez. So,
all right. So if we're going to circle back to the current team, let's get. I'm going to ask you, what are your thoughts on what they need to do to get this thing straightened out and win 20 games?
Yeah, I just think they need to. My opinion, I think Caleb needs to start playing like a grown man down there and down on the block and be more assertive and keep his game more on the block unless he gets more pick and pops where he's wide open.
Yeah, I would be fine with those.
Yeah, but he's kind of like he's venturing out there off of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And C.J. Walker needs to start becoming a true point guard where he's a distributor, kicking, drive and kick, and if we get it on the wing, we need to see if we can get it in the paint.
Yeah,
and maybe get Caleb open that way, or Kyle Young dump offs and stuff like that. Start getting in the paint more because I don't see it happening.
No, and I think you're absolutely right. And the only thing that I would add to it is I think that we need to get Arns back into a regular rotation. I don't know how many minutes he gets, but I know it's not as
he only got 14 this past game.
Yeah, so he needs to be at least probably 20 minutes per game. And
you start calling him the microwave.
Yeah. Vinny Johnson. Yeah.
He's instant offense, baby.
Yeah, I would put Arns into a regular rotation, and I don't think that does Washington and Mohammed both start, or does one of them come off the bench?
Like right now, Mohammed's starting Washington off the bench.
Okay, that was going to be what I would say is to actually rotate those guys in and out. But,
so yeah, the starters for this past game were starters were Walker at the point, Muhammad at the 2,
okay.
Andre Wesson at the 3, Kyle Young and Caleb Wesson.
Okay. Yeah, I just think we need to get Arns in more, and Andre Wesson needs to be more of a. I don't necessarily want to say a distributor, but Andre Wesson needs to get other people involved more than what he does. Because when he gets hot, he's really, really good, and people are gonna just start to gravitate towards him on defense. So,
yeah, let's see. Yeah, Kyle Young started, but he only played 16 minutes. I'm not sure if that was due to foul trouble or what
could have been
there, but yeah. So, yeah, they won 68-59. From what I heard on the radio, Indiana was a lot of self-inflicted. I did hear some. I was listening to it on the radio yesterday, and it seemed like Indiana, from what Paul Keels and
Ronnie Stokes.
Yeah, I think it was Ron.
Yeah,
with names this episode, forgetting names.
I know, it's awful.
So they were saying that Indiana was missing a lot of opportunities. They were kind of shooting themselves in the foot in the first half. That's how they got down by 15. So I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't watch the game because I was at work, so I didn't get a chance to watch it.
So we'll see next game. We'll see. How they come out on Tuesday
against Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah.
You would almost, you really hate to use the term must win, but you really don't want to start another losing streak. You would like to at least win 2 or 3 games straight.
They got 2 road games in a row here, and then they got 2 home games. So we got to.
If we could split one of these next 2 games, I would be okay if we could split one of them. You know?
I mean, they're teams that you should beat, really.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nobody. Neither of these teams are ranked or on, or world beaters right now.
No.
So, for a team that was number 2 in the country at one point, let's get it together.
Yeah,
I mean, sack up and start showing that again. Because I mean, you beat Villanova. You were doing something there.
You beat Kentucky. I mean, you won big games, and then against West Virginia, it just all started to fall apart. So
I mean, if it's a little bit like the effort on defense, I know Holtman had said that at some point.
Yeah, he said that a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they need to amp it up on defense a little bit more. But these last 2 in a row now.
Yeah. So if you've got 2 on the road and then 2 at home, you really want to get 3 out of these next 4 at least. I mean, I would be okay with that. So because that would almost guarantee you a spot in the tournament if you can win 3 out of these next 4, because that'll put you up to 17 wins.
Yeah.
So I mean.
So I can't believe we went 1 hour and 10.
Oh, geez, I didn't know we were talking for that long. Okay.
Yeah. So. Alrighty, well, that'll do it, and let's see, next episode, I think we'll see what they got 2 games this week by the time. Well, maybe we can delay the podcast start next Sunday.
Yeah,
because they play next Sunday at 1.
Well, so we can watch the game and then we'll
it might be pretty good.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
It might make for a really interesting episode. What the hell?
Fresh off of the game. Oh man, that might not be. But hey, no, that's great. Yeah.
So all right. Well, give us a follow on Twitter at Beyond Buckeyes. Subscribe to us where you get podcasts. It'll be everywhere. And just keep following us. Hang in there with us, and we will give you some good driving content to listen to, and then we'll be all geared up. We should have really good shows by the time football season starts. But we'll keep you up to speed with basketball and recruiting.
Absolutely,
and coaching changes, and anything newsworthy going on in college football and basketball. All right. So,
all right, guys.
All right, so that's it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.